I've always wanted to be able to learn to sing, but never really felt confident in actually singing in front of anyone. But I did. When I had the first session with Jules, I felt a little bit anxious, which I think is probably normal, but quite quickly I felt quite relaxed and was able to sing in front of somebody, which was quite a big deal for me. I wanted to find something that was just for me, where there was no pressure in me performing in a particular way. Like there was a goal, but it was all personal goals. It wasn't that I was going to do an audition or anything like that where I had pressure on me. So I could just do it for me and to have that time to express myself in a different way. Just felt, I feel like the lessons just filled me up with joy and confidence and expressing myself in a way that I wasn't used to expressing myself in. So I chose Jules because I liked the fact that you could have an introductory session. The feel that I got when I had that first session was that I felt really comfortable and really relaxed. I felt comfortable asking questions. I felt safe to sing in front of Jules. I also liked the fact that Jules teaches yoga as well. And I had that connection straight away that I was going to feel that I would just be able to express myself. And the sessions were about me and not about me necessarily being able to sing like anyone in particular. It was about my learning about my voice as an instrument, not comparing to anybody else, which I think was really helpful. The way that Jules holds her lessons really resonated with me in terms of being in tune with your body, being really self-aware. I think that was really helpful for me too. So from my first session, I remember almost feeling like a little bit of a mouse, that I felt like I had lots of thoughts around my voice that perhaps I couldn't sing or I wasn't confident enough to sing, but I've always really enjoyed singing along to music. And I think from then to now, I feel like I understand how to control my voice. I can project my voice. I learn about how I can change my voice depending on the way that I'm positioning different parts of my mouth. Have control over the way that my voice sounds. I even noticed from the beginning of one lesson to the end of one lesson a difference. Like sometimes at the beginning of a lesson, I sometimes feel a little bit anxious, but after I've sang a couple of times from the beginning to the end, there's a real noticeable change. And I think it's to do with how Jules listens to my voice, listens to my feedback on how it feels, and then gives me an activity to be able to then work through in the lesson that then enables me to feel something different, so then I can project my voice differently. I think the biggest thing for me is being asked the question, how does it feel? Because it makes it more about my voice as an instrument and less about the voice in my head that's telling me what my voice should sound like. And it's not necessarily what it sounds like, it's how it feels. And then the sound will just come when it starts to feel right. So vocal training that I've done previously was more about the way that my voice sounded to the other, as opposed to my own relationship with my voice as an instrument. And I feel like now there's not necessarily a desired outcome of how it should or shouldn't sound. It's more about the journey. And I felt previously it's been about making my voice sound a particular way. And I don't think that way was necessarily achievable for my voice. So I think it's more personalised and tailored approach for me and the way that my voice sounds. Getting to meet Jules has been amazing. And just, I think the biggest thing for me is feeling like I can express my voice in a more confident way, and losing that little voice in my head that says you can or can't sing. Like it's not about that for me anymore. It's about what singing feels like to me. And I see it as, I've seen it as like a really therapeutic journey, which has been really beautiful. Just a really big thank you for giving me the opportunity to find my voice.